Hey everybody, Adam Savage and one of my favorite places, Propstore down in Los Angeles with Brandon Allinger.
Hey Adam, how are you?
Very good, sir. How are you?
I'm good.
I've been so excited about this auction.
Table.
This table is crazy. We are talking about Blade Runner 2049 props, which Alcon, who also made The Expanse, is finally putting up for auction. I'm so excited about these pieces.
So are we. This has been such a fun auction to work on and put together. I love this movie. I think you might like this movie.
I love this movie.
Great movie. One of my favorite films of the past 10 years.
Agreed. And we got to spend a week on set in Budapest. We got to see some of these pieces in situ. We got to watch Ryan filming in Vegas in the Elvis room. We got to watch him entering that room before the fight with Harrison
With all the
Ford.
great lighting.
We got to watch Denis Villeneuve and Roger Deakins working on that incredible lighting in that room.
That's
it was
awesome.
Really amazing.
Yeah, that must have been incredible. How long were you there?
Just about 7-8 days.
Wow.
Yeah.
And let me ask you, when you were there on set, did you have a sense from the bits you saw of what the film would be? Or were you kind of blind? I mean, did you know the story or the script or anything?
So when we were on set in the production office, they had the full script and storyboards in one of the offices. And we were able to be in there and look around.
Yeah.
But it's so hard to get a sense in situ. However, being in the room while Deakins and Villeneuve were shooting with Gosling in the Vegas thing, it was really clear that they were getting a lot done and doing stuff at a very high complexity level. So it felt great to be on those sets. They all were really immersive. So it gave me a very good feeling about the film.
Yeah, and you saw actual filming. I mean, you saw performances.
Yeah. I actually got to, we shot some extra material where I got to provoke Dave Bautista into a murderous rage. I'm like poking him in the chest, and he like leans in after the take, and he goes harder.
That's hilarious.
That's great.
Look, if there's a production visit, I think that was a good one. So
it was amazing. Yeah. So I should give this a precursor, which is the Blade Runner 2049 version of Harrison Ford's sidearm from Blade Runner, is one of the most important props in my whole life. I made one of these when I was 19. I made another one when I was 24. I made another one when I was 40. This is one of my favorite firearms in any movie. It's
iconic. I mean, it's one of the most beloved props, and I think for the first film there was only one, right?
I believe there was only one.
And only.
There are some people that have said that there were two, but
there's no real evidence.
There's no real evidence. Every picture I've ever seen is clearly the one that showed up at Worldcon.
Yeah. And now with this film, they did build more than one because it's modern filmmaking and we need to have more. And not only did they build more than one of the classic PKD, they introduced some new variations, which are a lot of fun as well.
Well, and I really love what this sort of demonstrates in sort of movie making is storytelling, but it's also at a deeper level than you might consider, right? Like this is a piece of military hardware to a certain extent, and this is an updated piece of military hardware where this is more like Love's gun, and we'll talk about this later. It feels much more like a millionaire's ceramic kind of gun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Also, I think that production, I'm going to pick this up. This is one of the, it's so heavy. So I believe this is using the Tomenisuke blaster as the base.
Yes, I believe that's correct.
That's very much a Tomenisuke little cartridge there. But they scenicked it to make it match the original gun.
Right, and the weathering on it, yeah.
And you guys were able to screen match.
Yes, yeah. I think this one, screen matches to the scene at the end of the film where Ryan Gosling's holding the gun in the rain. He looks up at the big digital version of Joy, and he looks down at the gun, and there's some scratches specifically here on the side of it, and the way some of the weathering is that you can screen match exactly. Now, what was really interesting about this particular one is when it came out of the prop cases with the laser cut foam, which you saw on set, the little X-Acto knife handle detail on the side of it, the little black rod was missing. And the light-up cartridge was missing. So this is actually a replacement light-up cartridge. They may have taken the light-up cartridge and put it in the stunt gun because there were a couple of stunt guns. This is the only one that has practical lights. So if you hit the switch on that, the lights...
Stunt gun weighs like
nothing
a few
compared
grams.
There's a lot of metal in this one.
Yeah, no, this
is all lightweight cast rubber.
I will tell you, so this one, the lights also work?
Yeah, it takes a second.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
I will tell you on set, I heard that when they handed Harrison Ford the heavy blaster, he went, "I remember this thing."
Oh, really? Well, that's a great story. But this one, there's shots in the movie where Gosling has it in the pocket of the green coat, and you can guess they would have used this lightweight one for that, and anything action related.
Okay, I want to talk about something that the fandom has been talking about for a while, which is the Blade Runner blaster famously was in the wind for decades, and it showed up at Worldcon back in the mid-aughts. And one of the things that had happened when the Blade Runner gun showed up is that this screw changed. And having built my own from a Steyr Mannlicher blaster, I know that screw is actually an extra screw from the Steyr construction that production used on Blade Runner. But clearly it disappeared, and the RPF figured out that this was a Weaver scope knob.
Okay.
So I just find it fascinating.
You're saying it looks different on film to how it looked 20x years
Correct.
later.
In the original Blade Runner, that is a different screw head.
Yeah.
And then it shows up at Worldcon with that screw head, which is clearly like a compromise, but not canon.
And you're saying it's being replicated as that forever since.
And now it's canon.
Got it.
Which I find fascinating and delightful.
Yeah.
Right? Like the ways in which these props change over time, they change through hands and different people fix them up and stuff like that. And now it's been codified as canon by the 2049.
Yeah. And the other thing that makes this particular one great, there's a still that it matches to. This is also the gun that Harrison Ford is holding on the poster. So there's a poster where you see it, and you very clearly see these scrapes in the paint on the lever there, and it's without question this exact one. So multiple matches on this.
That is super cool.
Yeah.
That makes this almost cooler than this one.
The other thing that I love about this is completely custom made, whereas this is kind of using the real world replica that's available to fans, has been available to fans for a number of years. This had to be custom made by the prop shop. And they even did the grips, which are, the semi-translucent amber in soft rubber. And there's no bubbles. I mean, it's
perfect.
It's nice.
I can't tell you how much clear materials are such a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
And then they go to this really bold step of making an updated cop blaster.
Yeah.
And nailing it.
I love this design.
Dude.
I mean, for me, it's a perfect next step from it.
It is a gorgeous next step. Doug Harlocker is the prop master that oversaw the construction of all of these beautiful pieces, and talked to me specifically about how he knew for the level of fidelity and fineness he wanted that these panels had to be 3D printed and applied afterwards. And he couldn't cast them and get a level of detail that he wanted.
Yeah. Yeah, I love the paint finish, the sort of simulated carbon fiber on the grip.
Yeah.
And I love the detail of the serial number that's been etched into the side.
And then they've got there's a little artifact here where this goes back when you pull the trigger.
Yeah.
And it gives a little action.
Build some kind of mechanics into it so that Gosling has something to react to on film, and you've got the red light there. It simulates the red lights on the original. It's sort of, there's no direct ties, but the overall theme, I feel, is very much tying into the aesthetic. The overall shape and proportions of the gun is tying into the original gun.
I totally agree, and I can't imagine how much pressure it must feel to a designer to be like, you got to update the Blade Runner blaster. Like, what?
Yeah.
I also love when you look at the handle close up. Of course, it reads as carbon fiber, but I believe it looks like it was sprayed through one of those cushion shelf liners you use for routing things.
Okay.
It's like a very straightforward and kind of
just checker pattern.
Yeah, it's just a checker pattern.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you're talking about, the shelf line paper. Yeah.
So one of the things I think Harlocker's shop did is they vacuum metallized the whole thing and then scenic on top of that. So when the weathering comes off, you see what looks like metal.
Right, it's real, which is so effective. And this one also screen match, photo match. There's some very distinctive scratches on the side here, and some of the close-ups you get in the movie, like when he first sets it down on the table in Sapper's farm, this exact one.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I love the sound that it makes. The Foley work of it going dunk dunk on the table is just spectacular. And it clearly, that sound is the sound of a gun that weighs more than this.
Yes. It's a lightweight prop version. But there's not that many times that a prop gets to fill the whole frame in a big cinema like that. So it's cool that it gets its moment to shine.
That is really neat.
And I love the electronics are very clever. There's a battery cell hidden in the grip here.
Oh, really?
You loosen that little Allen head, the whole grip slides off, and that's where the battery lives. And then all the electronic mechanisms are up here in the front of it.
What a beautiful, beautiful piece. I have a replica of this, and I bought one of the holsters We're not going to cover the holster in this auction, but the holster that they chose holds this gun very gently. It's kind of
is that right?
like it literally is only contacting the holster here and back here, and that's it.
Okay, I can tell you one of the holster props that came into us has got gaffer's tape all over it.
Yeah.
So you can tell they were rigging it up on set to hold a little firmer. You know?
Right, because he's going to be running, right?
Yeah, it should just slide back in there.
Right, and this is the one that I love this gun. This is Luv's gun. That is one of, Nyander Wallace's henchwoman.
Yeah, head replicant.
This most special angel. This is Luv's gun, and this is a magnificent piece. I just love that it really does look like it's built out of ceramics. It is the kind of like bespoke thing a billionaire might have.
Yeah, this looks more tactical. That looks more just expensive.
Yeah. And I never knew that Luv's gun had a little light. There's a little light back up here.
And also the trigger mechanism.
What?
And you see it sliding in the double barrels.
Oh my God, the double barrels move.
Which I don't know if that ever features on camera. I don't know if you get to see it well enough to feature, but you know, so many times, obviously the props have been designed and built before filming. They don't know exactly what will be needed, what will be seen, what won't. So there's more built into the props than ever plays in the movie. Check out the lever.
I was just gonna bring this up. This is so cool. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, basically you've got, you know, they're recreating the lever, which is the bolt action charging handle from the rifle that was built, that the original was built on for this blaster, and they put two in and flipped them upside down, but very subtle nods that again are just linking the aesthetic to the original movie.
It's just like that kind of attention to detail is so lovely. And this is a piece, frankly, I was wondering how it would look, because I've looked at a lot of pictures of it, but I haven't seen this one up close. And this piece sells as close as you can get to it. It feels like a genuine
like
artifact.
It's real.
Yeah, like a real thing.
Yeah, and this is the hero version. They did rubbers of this too. There were rubbers of the K Ryan Gosling blaster, and then they also had a thing called Love Security Team, which are kind of her henchmen. They basically carry this, but without the powder blue. It's all silver.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dude, and we pulled these out of some cases that have the gun outlines perfectly laser cut in them. When I was talking to Doug Harlacher, he said that's also partly a security thing.
Oh, really?
Because you know when something's missing, right? There's only one place for each thing, and they're so important.
Yeah, no, it's very well tracked and controlled, and yeah, it's just been so much fun for us to go through this material, do the work on some of the screen matching, the photo matching, like we talked about, you know, realizing that the rubber blaster is the one on the poster.
Yeah.
And then putting the auction together. We did a great highlights catalog for it, which is online, a PDF where you can see the really nice content. And then, you know, we have complete photo sets and even some videos and 360 turnarounds and such of some of the key pieces in the online catalog. So for me, this is one of my favorite auctions that we've ever done because the content is just so wonderful. It's such a great visual world.
And you are auctioning off some of the holsters as well.
Yes. We have the K holster. We also have the Deckard holster, which you never see in the movie, but they made it.
And it looks like they exactly replicated the Blade Runner holster, which is a cut down Safariland belt
the brown
holster.
leather. Yeah. And it fits the gun. It's I guess they just, you know, the way he sort of winds up using it in the film, there was probably just no opportunity for it to play really.
Right. I remember talking in Budapest to the storyboard artist who said his favorite frame to draw was that frame of the gun in focus, racking focus to Harrison Ford's face. Yeah. He showed us that storyboard and said, "This is going to be in the trailer. It's amazing."
And it was, right?
Yeah. It was in the very first trailer.
Because that's the reveal of Deckard. That's the first time you've seen Deckard for 35 years. So yeah, great shot.
I keep hearing Harrison Ford sing that line from Robert Louis Stevenson in my head. Do you have a bit of cheese, would you like? Brandon, it's an incredible. This is like a murderer's row of unbelievable firearm props from one of my all-time favorite movies. What an incredible thing. And the auction is coming up soon.
Yeah, January 30th to February 20th. So it's online only, all the bidding activities online. We've got 200 lots in total. Costumes, props, most everything that you could think of that you might want from the film is in that auction. There's not much missing. So for Blade Runner fans, it's a real delight.
Dude, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Good to see you.
See you guys next time.
Thank you guys so much for watching that video. I would be remiss if I didn't tell you we have some excellent merch. We have a 5-pack of demerit badges for sale right now at tested/store.com. We've got the I hung it off of level demerit badge, the I built the chair backwards demerit badge, the I hit my thumb with a hammer demerit badge. We've got the stapler in my finger demerit badge, and my favorite, I stuck the duct tape to itself demerit badge. Get yours now, tested/store.com. .store -store tested -store tested. It's right here. There. Just click there.